Yes, people. So today I'm be going straight into it, talking about the half space drills, giving you a very key point of what you need to have first of all, and I want to speak a bit on it, then talk about the technical stuff in terms of how to be efficient in a half space. If you don't know what the half space is, just look at the diagram. That's exactly what a half space is. Um, I didn't learn this till I was about 21 years old. Had a very good manager, a Polish manager of a Middlesex Premier side, and he was, as I was a wide winger, he wanted me to play in a half space. When the winger fullback would be on the touchline to hold the wide areas, and I come in the half space, and I only learned that at that time. Previously, I was at Basingstoke Town. Had a few stints at South End. Then I got released, and this is something I wasn't taught. So I learned this later on. So if you're a young player and you're playing as a wide winger, this is something that'll be beneficial to you. The whole purpose of these videos that I do. So just look at the diagram. That's the half space. You got the wide areas, you got a half space, and you got a center area. Then you got a half space, and you got the wide areas. Players for me that play the half space brilliantly, number one is this guy that you're watching up in the video, Hazard. If he gets in the half space, it is a problem. Then you've got people like Ronaldo. When he drifts off on the wide and he comes into the half space, he's an issue. He does something which is different, which is unique about CR7, prime CR7. You got obviously the GOAT, Lionel Messi. You've got Santi Cazorla, David Villa, Kevin De Bruyne, Martin Odegaard that plays in that position well, and many other players that you probably see play in this half space area. Now, this is a position that you need to be in a correct formation, and it has to be a system that everybody in the team understands. The reason why I say that is because there is a lot of disadvantage to play in the half space, and you've got to understand this. But I want to do that in my second part 2 video. Today I'm just going to give you the drills, and other video I want to give the explanation. So number one thing is, when you're playing in a half space, you need to be aware exactly what's around you. That's number one thing. You've got to be able to control the ball quickly and effectively, and also that you must have the vision and ability to move the ball in, and even to a more threatened position than where you started off with. So these are the things. If you're, because when you're in a half space, you've got to be able to pass or either cross or dribble or potentially shoot, which is probably the last resort. But most of the dangerous players playing a half space will either dribble or pass, whether it's first time or whatever. So we're going to do the first one that you need to have on lock, which is awareness. I don't think I have seen any videos explaining to be able to play efficiently in a half space, that how good your awareness got to be. I don't think we all understand. I remember I went to Spain and I saw the level of these players, and when they was playing in the half space, you couldn't get near them. And the thing about half space, when you're defending against it, you have to just low block it sometimes, depending on how the team's set up. But number one thing you got to be able to have as a player playing in the half space is awareness. There's videos of Aubameyang. Oh, I put it there. There's a video of him doing something called the Neuro Tracker. The Neuro Tracker is something that a lot of professional clubs have been using for the longest time. Back in 2017, they found out that a lot of the Premier League teams and international clubs in Europe, etc., use the Neuro Tracker because it's not enough just to work on your vision. People also about how do you work on your vision. Basically, the best way to work on the vision is by doing an exercise whilst at the same time you have to track the movement of, or keep focus on the target when other things are moving. Because when you're playing football, the opponent's just not standing still. Everyone's moving, everyone's putting their hands out, everyone's shouting. You've got to have a sense of focus to be able to block that out and still make the right decision. I don't think people understand that aspect. So to be able to develop this area of the brain awareness, before you go technical, you got to be smart, you got to be aware, you got to be able to download the Neuro Tracker. You can either do that, I think it works out to be $30 or whatever a month. You use it on the PC. I think you can use it on your phone, but I think it's better on a laptop. this is what majority of the professionals use. Like I said, Aubameyang, when he's at Arsenal, there's a good picture of him using it there. Bayern Munich, Ajax, they've got something different as well. Every professional club uses some sort of neuro tracker to help develop players' focuses. So you need to have this in your locker. Now, if you don't have that sort of money, there is an alternative, which is two things. You can have Lumosity or this one here. You know, I didn't use this when I was playing actually. I used something else which they deleted now. But just look at this video here. This is what you got to do. You know, this is the sort of activities that you got to be able to focus on. And there's another one that you do afterwards when you finish your test. I recommend doing about 30 or so minutes a day doing this before sessions. And there's something that I used to do as well with players as well. I'll get them to, after when they doing a treadmill run or doing a ball possession drill, because obviously if I'm not able to connect it to, you know, any big screen, as soon as they finish on their rest period, they'll do something to do with their brain, or even before, just so that their brain is ticking over. You got to fatigue your cognitive mind, and I don't think any player that I spoke to does any sessions when they fatigue their brain. You have to fatigue your cognitive mind in order for you to be effective, even to be a professional footballer, especially in a half space. This is very, very, very important. So cognitive overload is the key. So you need to be able to have mental flexibility, high speed process information, which this app allows you to do. So you can download it for free and you can get started with that today, or get the neuro tracker. Now with vision, why you've got the next thing is vision in part of the awareness, is because, you know, the vision, according to research, dominates about 80% of the vast amount of our sensory information we take in every second. So for us to master how to use vision, which is a skill, it separates the good from the best in any team sport. So for example, they found out that between amateurs and elites is that amateurs overscan for detail, darting a focus point around too much. This is why I did a video about just focusing on three areas in terms of your scan, in terms of, you know, where your teammates is, you know, where the other team, how close they are, and the body position as well. The reason why it's a problem when you overscan is that it causes blurred visions between scan points. So if your eyes are constantly moving from one point to the other, most of the time the scene is blurred. So therefore it compromises your peripheral awareness. All right. So elite athletes, which is true, tend to scan much less frequency, but they focus on detail. For example, Messi, when he's dribbling, when he's scanning, he focuses on where is the direction of the player's momentum going, as opposed to just looking at where he is. They're looking at, is his hips facing the right? Then if therefore our body fake right and I push it left, is it impossible for him to change the direction to go away? Do you see that? So the neuro tracker and those, you know, that game that I just put in here, they give you tasks that forces you to, you know, have processed complex information across a wide field of view whilst looking towards the center of the scene, which is brilliant. All right, so that's number one. Then I will do number two, which should be released tomorrow. All right, so stay tuned for the part 2 video of control. For the first one, you all need to do is get onto these apps and get started.